All right, you smart cookie. See if you can solve these 7 riddles with a twist. So, you think you can crack any riddle out there? Not so fast. These riddles may look easy enough at first glance, but once you find out the correct answer, you'll be beating yourself up for not paying closer attention to the details. Can you be really attentive and think outside of the box? Let's find out. Riddle number 1. The secret password. Matt wants to get into a private club, but the entry requires a password that he doesn't know. So, he steps off to the side and eavesdrops on entering club members giving the password. When one club member walks up to the door, the bouncer says 12. She replies 6 and is let in. Then another member comes to the door. This time, when the bouncer says 6, the man replies 3 and gets in. Matt's sure that he sees the pattern and walks up to the door. The bouncer says 10, and Matt replies 5. To Matt's surprise, the bouncer doesn't let him in. Can you figure out what Matt should have said to get in? You have 10 seconds to think about it. Do you have your answer ready? Let's see if it's the right one. Matt was actually supposed to say how many letters there are in the number that the bouncer says. The word 12 has 6 letters, and the word 6 has 3. 10 has 3 letters, so the password should have been 3. Isn't that easy? Riddle number 2. A mugging. A man walked into a police station claiming he had just been mugged. The police officer asked him to describe exactly what happened. So the man explained, "I was on my way to the bank, and I had $100,000 in my briefcase. Suddenly, a man wearing black clothes, a black mask, and black gloves jumped me, grabbed my briefcase, and ran away." The police officer noted a fresh cut on the man's face and asked if it were from the attack. The man replied, "Yeah, the mugger was wearing a silver ring on his left hand, and it cut me when he punched me." The police officer immediately knew that the man was lying. How did he figure it out? Time's ticking. This one's pretty easy if you paid close attention to the man's story. You probably remember that the so-called victim said that the attacker was wearing black gloves, right? So even if the ring had cut his face through the glove, how could the man know whether the mugger's ring was made out of gold or silver or any other material? Liar, liar, pants on fire. Riddle number 3. Jack's Dilemma. Jack has a lion, a lamb, and a bale of hay. He wants to cross a river, but there's only one boat, and it can't hold the weight of more than 2 items at a time. Jack also has to make sure that the lion doesn't eat the lamb, and that the lamb doesn't eat the hay. How can poor Jack get to the other side of the river with all 3 objects safe and sound? You have 10 seconds to find a solution. The plan isn't all that difficult. Jack should first take the lamb across. Then he can take the bale of hay across and bring the lamb back. After that, he should take the lion across, but leave the lamb. Finally, he needs to go back for the lonesome lamb and take it across. There, all 3 get to the other side of the river unharmed. Let's just hope that the lion won't eat him. Oh. Riddle number 4. A life or death decision. Tom was walking in the woods when he suddenly came upon a big house. The house looked abandoned, so Tom, in true scary movie form, decided to check it out. But as soon as he walked in, you know what happened. The door behind him slammed shut. Tom found a note saying the door behind him is locked, but there are 4 unlocked doors that he can use to get out. The problem is what's behind those doors. If Tom opens the first door, he'll immediately fall into a tank full of hungry sharks. The room behind the second door is filled with lethal gas. Behind the third door awaits an unescapable well full of water. And if Tom chooses the fourth door, he'll face a chainsaw-wielding serial killer who murdered 100 people in 1918 alone. Dang, psycho! So, which door should Tom choose to survive? Your 10 seconds starts now. What a choice to make, huh? Looks like death is behind each one. Well, death is waiting behind each door, except for the last one. Although the killer sounds like the last thing you'd want to choose, he was slaying people a century ago. So Tom will probably just be met by a dusty old skeleton covered in cobwebs. Harmless. Well, unless you don't like dust or spiders. Riddle number 5. Card trick. Adam is given a deck of 52 cards. He knows that there are 13 cards facing up, while the rest are facing down in a random order. He needs to create 2 piles with the same number of cards facing up. Oh, and Adam is blindfolded and can't see a thing. So, how can he do it? Easy. Adam just needs to take the first 13 cards from the top and simply flip them over. Done. If you don't believe it, let's break it down together. Imagine you took the first 13 cards from the top. Let's say there are 9 cards in that group that are facing up. That means the remaining pile would only have 4 cards facing up, since we know from the beginning that 13 of the 52 cards were facing up. So if you flip the first pile over, 4 cards will be facing up and 9 will be facing down. 4 and 4. There you go. Riddle number 6. The odd one. Look carefully at these 5 figures. The question is simple. Which one of these objects does not belong in the group? A good old odd one out riddle. Here are your 10 seconds. Did you figure it out? Get it? Figure? Anyway, if you choose the first figure, congratulations, you're absolutely right. And why is that? Because it's the only object that doesn't have an individual trait. The second one is round, which is different from any other shape. The third object doesn't have an outline around it. The fourth one is a different color from the rest. And the fifth shape is much smaller than the others. So, we're simply left with the first figure, which is the only one that's not odd in any way. Tricked ya! Riddle number 7. The ticket clerk. A deaf and mute man came up to the ticket counter at a subway station. The tickets cost 50 cents each. The man handed over $1, and the ticket clerk gave him 2 tickets without even checking. How did the ticket seller know that the man needed 2 tickets? Try to crack this mystery in 10 seconds. Ready or not? Here's the answer. The deaf and mute man gave 4 quarters, so the ticket clerk could be certain that he wanted 2 tickets. Otherwise, he would have given only 2 of his quarters. It's as simple as that. Alright, how many of these riddles did you get right? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to share your video with your friends and family to find out whether they'll be able to crack them too. Stay on the bright side of life, and we'll see you soon.